Before the war, Leningrad was a jewel of the Soviet Union, a city of art, science, and immense industrial power. It was the cradle of the revolution, a symbol of national pride. But in the summer of 1941, the German war machine, under Operation Barbarossa, swept across Eastern Europe with terrifying speed. By September 8th, the final rail link to Leningrad was severed. The city was completely encircled. Imagine your city cut off for 872 days. The only way food gets in is over a frozen lake, a treacherous path called the Road of Life. This isn't a movie plot. This was the reality for Leningrad from 1941 to 1944. When Nazi forces completed their Ring of Steel, 2.5 million civilians and soldiers were trapped inside. The German strategy was not to capture the city, but to annihilate it through starvation and bombardment. The first winter was the most brutal. With fuel supplies gone, there was no power. And with temperatures plunging to -30 degrees Celsius, there was almost no heat. Food reserves dwindled to nothing. Bread rations dropped to a mere 125 grams a day for civilians, a few ounces of dense, damp bread. To make it stretch, bakers mixed in sawdust, cellulose, and even floor sweepings from the mills. People burned their furniture, their books, anything that would provide a flicker of warmth against the encroaching frost. And yet, here's the wild part. The city didn't break. Its spirit refused to be extinguished. Amidst the starvation, libraries stayed open, offering a different kind of sustenance. Orchestras still performed. The most famous act of defiance was the premiere of Dmitri Shostakovich's Seventh Symphony. The score was flown into the besieged city by military plane. The orchestra was so depleted by hunger that the conductor had to stop rehearsals to wait for the musicians to catch their breath. On August 9, 1942, the symphony was performed and broadcast by loudspeaker across the city. A message of unbroken will aimed at both its own citizens and the enemy lines. Imagine hearing that powerful, defiant music while shells are falling around you. Survival depended on a fragile lifeline. In the brief summer months, small boats and barges braved German air raids to ferry supplies across Lake Ladoga. But it was in winter that the true legend was born. Trucks raced across the frozen lake, the Road of Life. It was a perilous journey, dodging constant artillery fire and navigating treacherous thin spots in the ice where other trucks had already vanished. To avoid bombers, they drove at night, headlights blacked out, doors propped open for a quick escape. The only guides were evergreen branches stuck in the snow, marking a path between life and death. This road brought in vital food and evacuated over 1 million people. Inside the city, the fight continued. Starving workers kept the factories running, building tanks and shells for the front lines just miles away. Children hauled water from frozen canals and helped tend to victory gardens planted in city parks. Every day was a choice, quit or carry on. The human cost was unimaginable. Over 1 million civilians died, the vast majority from hunger and cold. Bodies were pulled through the streets on sleds to mass graves, but the city held. In January 1943, the Red Army's Operation Iskra finally broke through the German lines, creating a narrow land corridor. It was a crack of light, but the siege wasn't over. A full year later, on January 27, 1944, the blockade was completely lifted. The siege was finally broken. When the first full supply trains rolled into the city, people wept openly on the platforms. They brought the sounds and smells of a world almost forgotten. Bread, coal, light, noise, life. Why does this history matter? Because resilience isn't just a hashtag. It's what ordinary people are forced to do when there is no other option. The story of Leningrad shows how culture, community, and sheer stubborn hope can hold a city together against impossible odds. If you ever wonder what the human spirit can survive and still create art, share books, and help their neighbors, remember the road of life, and remember the people who crossed it, and the millions who endured again and again for 872 days.